Hey, Pastor Josh here. We're reading Genesis chapter 21, verses 8 through 21. We're seeing what's going to happen to Hagar and Ishmael. Isaac, the promised child, has finally been born, and now there are some issues that happen between Isaac and Ishmael. So let us read what happens. And the child grew. This child is Isaac, and was weaned. And Abraham made a great feast on the day that Isaac was weaned. It was a big day celebrating celebrating the life of Isaac. But Sarah saw the son of Hagar, the Egyptian, whom she had borne to Abraham, laughing. So Ishmael is there laughing in a scorning way at this big party, this big feast that Abraham put on. And there's Ishmael over there in the corner laughing and scorning and being rude at this celebration. As you can imagine, that really bothers Sarah. She's already has this past history with Hagar and really thought that she kind of stuck her nose up toward Sarah because she was able to have a child when Sarah was not. And so this really, really irritates Sarah when she sees Ishmael over there laughing during Isaac's weaning party. So Sarah said to Abraham, cast out this slave woman with her son. Get rid of her. She doesn't need to be around here anymore. For the son of this slave woman shall not be heir with my son Isaac. No, Isaac's going to get everything. This boy should not get the heir of anything, and they need to be cast out. It would seem like Sarah is over-exaggerating, is overreacting, perhaps, but as we will see, this is actually being used by the Lord. And the thing was very displeasing to Abraham. Of course, it's displeasing to Abraham. He likes Ishmael. Ishmael is actually his son, and even though Isaac is very little at this point, he has seen Ishmael grow up and has seen him become an older boy, and so he has connected to Ishmael, and he doesn't want to see this happen. But of course, Abraham brought this all on himself, right? When Sarah first told him, well, why don't we have a child through Hagar? And that is how we will perpetuate our line. Abraham at that point should have said, no, that's not what the Lord said, and that's not what we're doing. And so this, again, the consequences of Abraham's early actions are coming to bite him. But God said to Abraham, be not displeased because of the boy and because of your slave woman. No, don't be displeased. This is actually me working. You don't need to be bothered. You don't need to be worried. Whatever Sarah says to you, do as she tells you, for through Isaac shall your offspring be named. Don't worry about it. Isaac is the one that's going to receive all of the inheritance. Isaac is going to be the one that will ultimately be heir of everything that you have. And what you need to do is you need to actually listen to Sarah and do whatever she tells you to do. Now, there is a bit of irony here because we have some discussion between God and Abraham after this one. Apparently, Abraham maybe is not wanting to do it. He is so displeased that the Lord needed to encourage him to do what Sarah told him to do. But this is interesting, but this is not what happened when Sarah approached him the first time, when Ishmael was conceived. Abraham didn't say, hey, Sarah wants to do this. I know you promised me a son. Is this what? There was no displeasing. There was no wandering around. Abraham just quickly listened to Sarah and did what she asked him to do. He didn't think, he didn't wonder, he just did it. And so now the Lord is saying, well, you need to do what she tells you to do now. You did it the first time. If you would have listened to me or sought after me, we wouldn't be in this situation. And so that is a command for Abraham to follow, not a command for us necessarily to follow. But you see the consequences of Abraham's head, or of his actions, coming back on his head in this situation. And in fact, it's even happening the exact same way that it occurred the first time. For through Isaac shall your offspring be named, and I will make a nation of the son of the slave woman also, because he is your offspring. So there's a promise. I know you're worried about him, but I will take care of him. And in fact, he will be a nation. And as we will read in just a moment, he's going to be a strong nation. It's going to be a nation that's actually going to be problematic to the Israelites and to the line of Isaac, but he will be a nation nonetheless. So Abraham rose early in the morning. You see Abraham obeying what the Lord told him to do, to listen to Sarah. So, okay, we're going to do it. He took bread and a skin of water and gave it to Hagar, putting it on her shoulder along with the child, and sent her away. And she departed and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. Again, this mirrors exactly what happened right after Ishmael was born. She was going away. Sarah saying she needs to go, and now she needs to go this time. And when the water in the skin was gone, Hagar, she put the child under one of the bushes. Then she went and sat down opposite him, a good way off, about the distance of a bow shot, for she said, "Let me not look on the death of the child." And as she sat opposite of him, she lifted up her voice and wept. She cried. She's praying for him. And then God heard the voice of the boy. It's interesting. God heard the voice of the boy, not of Hagar. It's pointing out that he heard the voice of the boy, being sad that he was perhaps very hungry, very thirsty. The angel of God called to Hagar from heaven and said to her, "What troubles you, Hagar? Fear not, for God has heard the voice of the boy where he is. I know what's going on, and I'm going to take care of you." And then, so that is an attitude we need to adopt. God does indeed hear our prayers. God indeed hears our complaints, and even when we are in distress, he hears it. He heard Ishmael, and he will hear you as well. He is aware of everything. Here's the command: up, lift up the boy, hold him fast with your hand, for I will make him into a great nation. Both a command and a promise. God is saying, you need to obey me. You need to pick up, take care of him, and I will also follow through with this promise to make him into a great nation. Then God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water, and she went and filled the skin with water and gave the boy a drink. Now, what's interesting, she must have been so dehydrated or out of food so much that she was not able to think and see correctly, because there was a well of water right in front of her. And this is going to be the same language that's even used of Abraham when he sees the substitutionary ram that God provides in place of Isaac. He lifts up his eyes and saw a ram that was stuck in the thicket. And God was with the boy, and he grew up. He lived in the wilderness and became an expert with the bow. He lived in the wilderness of Paran, and his mother took a wife for him from the land of Egypt. And so also want to point out that God is blessing this line of Ishmael. Ishmael is not the promised child. He's not the one by which the Messiah will come. He's not the one that will bring blessing to all the nations, but God still is blessing this line, just like he blessed the line of Cain. He provided for the line of Cain. And I'm reminded of that New Testament verse, that New Testament saying that Jesus says that God causes it to rain on the just and the unjust. And so he causes it to, he takes care of both the godly line and the ungodly line. God indeed cares and blesses all people. I pray that has been a blessing to you, and I will see you in the next video.